All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I have for you guys today, I am pumped for this one. Nick Walker just confirmed moments ago on his Instagram page that he will, in fact, be jumping into the Arnold Classic USA lineup this coming September. Fresh off of a massive victory at the New York Pro, he qualified for his first Olympia ever, which will be this year's Olympia 2021. And I even talked to Nick right after he won the New York Pro, and I said, bro, I'd love to see you do the Arnold lineup. I hear it's going to be right before the Olympia in September. And he told me exactly what he told everybody else, that he was going to be waiting and focusing exclusively on his Olympia prep. It's his first Olympia ever. He doesn't want to mess this up. Like, this is a big shot, and I get that. But I got to say, honestly, I'm amped to see him in this Arnold Classic lineup. Obviously, this will be his first Arnold Classic lineup ever. Now, a couple of things that are cool about this. Number one is Sergio Oliva Jr. is also doing the Arnold Classic. You know, now we've got this beef, a little bit of a beef between Sergio and Nick. And one of the things that Sergio kept saying was, do the Arnold. Let's get on stage together at the Arnold, since we don't have the opportunity to get on stage together before the Olympia. And unfortunately, we really don't know at this point whether or not Sergio is going to be able to qualify through competing to get to the Olympia. So we don't know if we would even get to see Sergio and Nick head-to-head on the Olympia stage. So, you know, Nick and Blessing, they squash their beef on stage. I want to see Sergio and Nick squash their beef, or whatever beef they have left, if there is even any, on stage at the Arnold Classic. The Arnold Classic, one of my all-time favorite shows to go to of all time, one of my all-time favorite shows to watch of all time, favorite expo, and even more exciting than the fact that Nick is doing the show, just posted on the Arnold Classic website, another name has been added to the Arnold Classic list. Roelly Winklaar jumping in the 2021 Arnold Classic Ohio along with Nick Walker. They just announced it on their Instagram page. They say, breaking news, the 2021 Arnold Classic just got a whole lot bigger, and the men's open lineup just got much deeper. Fan favorite Roelly Winklaar and the rising star Nick Walker will take the stage when the Arnold Classic returns to Columbus, Ohio on September 25th, with Walker making his Arnold debut. Tickets are on sale Thursday. Now, this is awesome. Of course, we all want to see Roelly compete again. We all love the fact that Roelly's going to be doing the Arnold. Now, one thing that I'm still very curious about, keep in mind, the Arnold is outside of the qualification window for this year's Mr. Olympia, meaning nobody competing in this year's Arnold will be able to qualify for this year's Olympia through points or winning or any means at that show. So that means that Roelly doing the Arnold will not get him to the 2021 Mr. Olympia. So even if Roelly has confirmed this, if Roelly wants to get to the Olympia stage, he still has to do another show before the Arnold. So I just want to make that clear because I don't want it to get overlapped, the fact that Roelly is doing the Arnold. That's huge. That's awesome. However, that being said, don't be surprised if Roelly makes another announcement that he's doing another show, because as of the time that I'm recording this video, Roelly hasn't acknowledged on his Instagram that he is confirming that he's doing the Arnold. So this is just from the Arnold Classic. Nick confirmed it on his page, but Roelly has not confirmed it yet on his. Now, let's go ahead and take a look then at the competitor list for men's open bodybuilding with now these two added names. So added to this list, of course, you got Roelly Winklaar and Nick Walker, Lionel Bayecki, William Bonac, Max Charles, Sung Chol Lee, Muhammad El Aman, Steve Kuklo, fantastic. I think Steve Kuklo is going to be a sleeper in this lineup. You got Cedric McMillan, Hassan Mustafa, Sergio Oliva Jr., Justin Rodriguez, Ian Vier, and Akeem Williams. This is going to be a stacked and jacked Arnold Classic. And I've even heard that Brandon Curry is thinking about jumping in this lineup. This is going to be a miniature Olympia right before the Olympia. So who's not in this that would otherwise be a top placer at the Olympia? So you've got Rami, you've got Hadi, Phil Heath. So like three of your biggest perennial Olympian names, those are the only three that are coming to mind that are not in this lineup. This is a massive, massive Arnold lineup, and we're basically going to get an Olympia preview. I would be surprised if Brandon doesn't do this show. Brandon is a former winner of this show. It would be a great show for him to do. He's got that long-standing back and forth with William Bonac. Tremendous momentum this would be going into the Olympia. I think this would be a show that would be on Brandon's radar, and maybe he just doesn't know yet, and he'll just play it by ear on how he's looking as we get closer to that show and closer to the Olympia. But I would say expect this to be one of the best Arnold classics in recent memory. And now a word from our sponsors over at LAbrada Nutrition. Now, next up in the news, I wanted to touch on this story here. A bodybuilder that I really admired, and I was a really big fan of his physique, Nicolas Vullioud. He was a 212 bodybuilder. He was an Olympia contender. He took about 3 years off from the professional stage, but he was known for his crazy round delts. I mean, this guy he was insane. The guy was 3D, crazy physique. But he's announced his decision to retire after taking all this time off, even though he had started prepping again in 2020, but due to the pandemic and stuff, he didn't go through with it. So basically, he just announced his retirement today on Instagram, and I wanted to wish him well. Like I said, he was a 212 IFBB pro, and to me, he was a really, really dominant physique. He didn't have the highest placings, but he was an Olympia-level contender, and he did have a very impressive 212 physique, so I did want to include that in this video today. All right, now next up, guys, there were some wise words here from Keone Pearson that I wanted to share with you guys, and this was advice to up-and-coming bodybuilders. And Keone is a guy that upon qualifying for his first Olympia ever, he chose to sit out for personal reasons. And this video is basically talking about the importance of taking your time in this sport and not rushing things, not trying to get too big too fast, not wanting everything all at once, and not expecting things to happen immediately. And I think this is really good advice from Keone. And Keone is a guy, I've even seen him in the past say that he would like to retire from the sport entirely by the time he's 30. So Keone, to me, has some interesting philosophies and some interesting goals with the sport. So I wanted to share this advice with you guys. Maybe it would offer some value to some of you.
What's up, you guys? Something real quick I want to talk about. One thing that I've been getting a lot, well, people have been asking me a lot lately is what advice would I give to an up-and-coming bodybuilder? And my number one advice would be take your time. You guys, don't rush anything in the sport. It's a marathon, not a sprint at the end of the day. That goes from, changing your physique, getting a sponsor, getting a pro card. You guys, this shit is not easy because you see somebody else jump into a national show, their first national show, getting a pro card. Does not mean you have to do that. If you're not ready, you're not ready. Don't be so quick to rush the process. Enjoy the process. And that's what I mean by take your time. Because you got a company in your message because they want to give you free product. It doesn't mean you need to jump the gun so fast. That's not always a good thing, you guys. So take your time. That's my number one advice. I hope you learned something from this video.
Now, the final story that I wanted to talk about today, Wesley Vissers looks insane. His conditioning looks really good. And if I'm not mistaken, he's less than 4 weeks out. I think he's 3 weeks out from the Mr. Big Evolution Portugal Pro Show, if I'm not mistaken, because I thought he was doing Puerto Rico, but I'm pretty sure he's doing now this Mr. Big Portugal show. So that should be interesting because he posted this update of his chest workout a day ago, and he says that was from 4 weeks out, implying that he's now less than 4 weeks out, and the only show that would be less than 4 weeks out would be the Mr. Big show in Portugal. So it looks like that's the show he's prepping for. That will be what he's got his sights set on in terms of qualifying for the Olympia. Like I said, I actually thought he was doing Puerto Rico. I feel like Wesley's been kind of laid back, kind of quiet this prep. I haven't seen as many updates coming out from Wesley this time. But man, he looks like he is in tremendously good shape. One of the things that always impressed me about Wesley, aside from all the classic attributes of his physique, in this most muscular pose in particular, look at his delts. I mean, look how crazy capped and round his delts are in this most muscular. I mean, he's just got some really interesting, unique elements to his physique, and I really look forward to seeing him hopefully improve upon his previous package this time, and hopefully win the show and get the qualification for the Olympia, and we can see him on stage with the best of the best come October. So that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet already. And a side note, guys, please subscribe to my vlog channel, my backup channel. We're getting that thing back up and running for bonus content, just off the rail, weird takes, vlogs, and just random stuff All that overflow content will go on that channel. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, Nick's Strength and Vlogs is the name of that channel. We're at like 40,000 subs right now. We're trying to get it to 100K. So if you guys want to check that out, check it out. If not, then don't. That's all for today, guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out.